And I thought our first introduction to Never Obey Again was quite strong in terms of setting the ground running, but Toxic Feelings, wow. I'm still getting over it. In fact, I just re-listened to the number. It is something special, not just on musical delivery, but its rawness. Again, I admire that with the metal scene. It's part of the reason I gravitated to that over a number of years. I've been a devoted metalhead for a long time. I love being able to expand my library in terms of new artists. That's not something that I've been able to declare in terms, well, I mean, broadly speaking, yes, on this channel, but timely exposure. Not the story in common case with European talents. I'm setting a grounding for anybody who, again, is approaching Never Obey Again on a first basis, or Noah for sure, as I've seen expressed. Italian modern metal. I can speak endlessly about how great the European metal scene has been, and we're certainly taking a deep dive on a number of groups, Never Obey Again being the latest entry of a number I have forthcoming, including in the Italian metal regard. At this point, I've exposed myself to two, mutually with Scarlet Records Association as well, being Tyrion and Frozen Crown. Both were quite promising. Never Obey Again is a bit of an outlier in terms of not being a member of the Frozen Crown family, right? Alongside some others that I have currently in the waiting wings that are coming hopefully soon. You know, God willing, it's a long journey I'm taking with a number of artists. I cover a wide canvas here, even geographically speaking. I just love exploring good art with you. And I think music is better to enjoy in mutual company. I found that it's not as fulfilling in isolation. It's fine, it's just not the same. Music for me very much is a first love, as it is, I'm sure, for many other people. And that connection we can have in exploring good work together, especially on first impressions, right? Perhaps for both of us. Or maybe some of you are approaching being familiarized to Never Obey Again previous to coming in here, and you're getting the perspective of a new listener. And I do hope there's that divergence in perspective and standing with the groups I consult, that we're all coming together to just enjoy good music in harmony with one another, those of us who have mutual taste or just open to good art in general. For groups like Never Obey Again, I love taking introductory dives with all of you. This group has impressed me a lot. Now, sufficient instrumental sides with beautiful vocals and great atmosphere to the numbers and prioritized fresh ambition and the merging between actualization and idea. Look no further than Toxic Feelings. That number still is just so beautiful. I absolutely love it. So, of course, my anticipation is now geared up for Wake Up, which is the 6th track on listing. I am intentionally going out of order because I wanted to judge, at least going into the suggestion of the end of an era. We started with The Storm, again, the 2nd track and the earliest of the debuts of what we have available thus far to engage with. I caught wind of this particular resonance, especially of a contemporary sensibility with The Storm. It was quite direct in at least some of the visual imagery and on the authenticity of the narrative, which that instantly clicks. I mean, not just on the metal drive, of course, that's an instant meshing, especially on aggressive metal, though I keep an open door with intention. And that's best served me. I don't like to be too exclusive because, again, you need to be open in terms of the groups that you might come across, and there's not been one artist or song I've not loved highlighting. Whatever type of subfield of metal, or even outside of metal, perhaps, wherever they come from the music landscape, it has been an honor to spotlight so many groups and to share them in company with you. Never Obey Again, as I was saying on Philosophy, I got wind of this real modern contemporary sensibility and an authenticity that instantly meshed with me, at least in certain facets. Toxic Feelings as well is just like The Storm in how raw it is. And I have taken some time to dig into the philosophy of what's been offered by the group. I did catch, because I was curious to see if there was a declared ambition with Toxic Feelings or The Storm, again, to best engage its theming, because I could see a couple strands to it. As I understand, given group declaration, the main goal of the end of the era, the album, is dragging the listeners into experiencing the song and allowing them to wear the lyrics and the atmosphere of every single track on their own skin. I told you this has broad appeal. That instantly made it self-evident to me. Because you could take these songs and, again, art is subjective and certainly music is subjective. You could tailor them however which way you wanted, and it seems there necessarily isn't a declared ambition, but there's a message that could suit everybody in their own manner. It certainly connects with me, and imagine it's going to have wide practicality and applicability among various listeners, right? Of whatever standing you approach to Never Obey Again. First impression, listen, I cannot wait for you to hear them. I can't wait for you to enjoy the experience of me as we take a fresh introduction together. Or perhaps you're a familiarized listener, so you get the perspective of somebody who's not yet exposed himself to particular works. The group, yes, now in 2 entries, but Wake Up is going to be a fresh listen. I'm looking forward to hearing it. It is just as authentic and raw, it seems, on lyrical delivery as Toxic Feelings and The Storm happen to be. With Toxic Feelings especially, I also sense this theme of isolation being explored I don't know, again, this is just what I'm extracting on prelude to humoring the track and not up in a minute pairing tune to lyrics, but just prioritized on the writing. I just seem like this desire for connection that's being expressed amidst a state of disassociation to whatever type of context we might insert there. Again, it's not necessarily declared. I think, again, to give it that broad brush. Let's experience Wake Up, though, together. 2 entries in with Never Obey Again. I'm having a great time with them, and I cannot wait. If you've never been introduced, get excited. You're going to have a fun opportunity. I'm sure we're both going to have that as we share in experiences together of highlighting and enjoying good art in mutual respect. Never Obey Again has really impressed me. Let's add a third track to our consideration. So far, they've not let me down at all. Wake up. Oh, man, I'm really digging these rough roots. I love how guttural it is. Subtle synth application, too. A number of other European favorites of mine employ that. But this is a different feeling, too. Again, particularly individualized in application. This sweeps you away. Smooth. The vocals are just perfect. The electric tone to this, or electronic, I'm loving it. The splits on the instrumental application void of vocals, I like that pause, it's natural. And I didn't used to be the biggest electronic metal fan. That's a journey through this channel that's warmed me up to it. Especially in Europe. First for Italy, too, on that regard. It's usually Sweden that has this credit. The decisions on whether to lay a harder or softer tone here, for me, real expertise. The pitch raises on the inflections are just so natural. And the production quality of the video, I mean, again, it's basically just a straight band performance. I love that, again, when you sense a connection. I always have with European artists, my word. It just, again, I love that feeling of resonation where you just explore good art and you sense the passion of the artist. This communicates it. I love the aesthetics, though, where it's like a pseudo cage. I think it's great, especially with the spirit of isolation, that question, are we all alone, and how much that's reiterated. That sense of connection. I forced myself to run away. I saw how darker it goes. Because if you if you deep dive the open sea, we're not alone. I love the way this is written. But the strength of the number, first for Italy, to be fair, Volturian does have a credit as well of bringing in a synth emphasis from time to time. They do. And Frozen Crown as well. But I find this, modern metal has a bit of a versatility to it, for sure. I get the closest connection, though, with this, because it is so dominant and deep. But it takes this prioritized integration with the song. Again, for me, as I've said before, in cases of electronic interweaving into the rocks or music space, I'm not a big EDM guy when it's electronic isolation. I prefer a blend where it's more melodic, and then electronic intrusion perhaps to amplify its artistry and give it its original voice. I like seeing that pairing. And the groups I've explored so far, some in America, yes, but really none outside yet. I'd be open to maybe exploring around with other places if available, but so far in America, and especially Europe, I've seen this association done very well. This reminds me in particular, because now that I think about it again, maybe there's an Italian association for sure, but it's very reminiscent of the prowess of Swedish metal, which I've explored, I think, on this channel, a number of 6 groups presently that have generally all employed this to different respects, but it's a common coincidence out there, strangely. I just get the strongest connection here with that, and the prowess of what I've seen explored there, which has given me a newfound interest in it, in the association. This also is a good parallel. Great track construction, though, and beautiful uses of pauses and vocal inflection. I love the vocal rise, and I see it, how darker it goes. That's perfect. Just again, like I said, this natural sweep the song takes you along. Wonderful subtlety again on the background vocals on Carol's regard. It's just such a fun number, but those dominant dark riffs, the deepness, that guttural picture meshes beautifully. I knew I'd like Never Obey Again. Third opportunity of their original numbers. I've not been let down. Our fourth exposure, at present, that's all that's been made available, is a bit of a departure, and then I believe it's a cover. So that's... This script has given us a lot to judge. It's just such an interesting vision. Again, it's so early on as well. First footing, fresh debut, really. Different story than many other European groups I've highlighted on this channel, where most of them arriving at many of them late and on recommendation on part of frequent commenters in terms of the bands I address. That's usually how I'm learning a number of groups by name. And I've had the privilege at this point of highlighting a good number of them, with many more incoming. It's a robust list. I've cataloged every suggestion. Never Obey Again, though, of recent debut. So, different. Maybe not the first one, but certainly specialized in that standing for now, without many comparisons yet. But in that regard, I'm getting to them in a more timely fashion. But so early on, though, in terms of a first album debut, they've already created this robust experience. That next video will take us, I'm sure, in an interesting direction, but 3 original numbers in. I am looking forward to more off the end of an era. This is it has the makings of a great album that I'm sure is going to be an instant repeat listen for me on a number of occasions. I'd love to hear if that's a reminiscent feeling shared among all of you. And from whatever angle you approach, right? Fresh listener, longtime fan of theirs, at least as far as they've been around, I'd love to hear about it down below, right? If you've heard them in preparation, to me, is what I'm more so thinking of an explanation. I'm loving the journey we're taking. We have one more number for right now, but as far as I'm concerned, especially with regard to their original pieces, doors open for more. I'm just sitting here basically ready and waiting, because it's been a fun experience. I can't wait to humor that next one to again see an expansion of their talents, but so far, I am very impressed with this group. Sure, they're going to be another favorite of mine. Third entry thus far in Italian metal. European metal, though, broadly speaking, never disappoints. Never Obey Again is no exception. Thank you so much for watching this video. Before you bounce, feel free to drop a like and comment, subscribe to this channel with a ding on the bell, and share this video with your friends. And consider checking out the description here. There you'll find links to my other channels, as well as addresses to my other social media accounts and ways you can help support my work if you feel so inclined. May God bless you, and looking forward to when our paths cross again.